Hello everybody, welcome to Monday Morning Must Knows. My name is Merlin Rothwell, and here are three very important things to pay attention to for the upcoming trading week. Now, we've been talking about earnings for the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, we had JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley report really bad earnings, and it kind of set this dark cloud over earnings season. Last week, we had a ton of great earnings from some big names as well, and this week, we'll continue on with the earnings streak. We have 892 companies reporting earnings this week. Now, Monday is a quiet one. We've got Newmont Mining out there, so kind of quiet, but I know a lot of people looking at the natural resources and mining space, so Newmont comes out on Monday. Tuesday brings us some huge names: Microsoft, Google, GE, Visa, General Motors, Coca-Cola, and McDonald's. Wednesday, we continue with big names like Boeing, Ford, Qualcomm, Bristol-Myers Squibb, Shopify, Etsy, and Kraft Heinz, and there's more. Thursday, probably the biggest day possible. We've got two bellwethers, that is the A's. We've got Apple and we have Amazon reporting earnings, Intel, Altria, MasterCard, Merck, and Pfizer. And on Friday, it's not done. We've got oil on Friday: ExxonMobil, Chevron, Phillips 66, Colgate-Palmolive, Procter & Gamble, and AbbVie. And whew, I'm almost out of breath, and I'll tell you what, that's not 892. There's a lot more than what you see there, but those are some of the major names. And the red ones there are really important because those are the major market movers. Those are heavily weighted on the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. So when those come out, there could be some huge swings up and down. Which way? I don't know, so be careful. My recommendation is probably don't trade the earnings announcements, but hey, some of you might be risk takers. Now let's look at the biggest piece of the week. We started off in January with the 25 basis point increase, and then we jumped to a 50 basis point, then 75, and expectations now still 75. On Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are expecting a rate announcement from the FOMC and Jerome Powell to jump from 1.75% up to 2.5%. The real story will be what happens at the press conference after. That will be at 2:30 p.m. Now, what's really important here is the speculation about inflation, GDP, etc. If that speculation starts to get a little bit pessimistic, as it has been, at one point there was the probability of a rate increase of 1 full point, and that was about 83% chance. Now, as of recording this, it's right around 20% chance that we're going to see a full 1 point and about a 80% chance that we are going to see a 75 basis point raise next week. Now, of course, that might change. So as soon as that bell rings, we could see things differ greatly. But right now, the expectation is a 75 basis point increase, which would put us up at 2.5%. Pretty lofty. Now, there are other pieces that the Fed is looking at to steer this policy. We know it's inflation. The second one's going to be GDP. And as we reported a few weeks back, the final GDP numbers for Q1 were pretty dismal. We had a negative 1.4 reported for Q1, and that is really bad. Of course, we know 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP is the basic definition of a recession. So let's see what's happening now. We get our advanced Q2 GDP number. Now, as you can see here, we had wild fluctuations due to COVID. What's noteworthy is over on the right-hand side, you can see it dipped down there to negative 1.4. Now, what is the expectation for this announcement, which will be happening Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time? The expectation, drum roll please, if it's negative, that could really put us in that recession tone. They're saying 0.4 is the expectation, meaning they're expecting it to be a positive GDP number, which might squash some of the recession rumors and fears that are circulating these financial markets. But it's a long way between the advanced GDP number and the final GDP, which will be coming out in a couple of months. So it's not like it's the end all with this advanced number, but it does set the tone and give us an idea of what economists and the market is thinking about our economy going forward. And if that GDP number is positive, that's a relief off the shoulders of a lot of the financial firms and may be a catalyst for market moves going forward. That, my friends, Monday Morning Must Knows. We'll see you next week.